Let's head over into a tab we haven't yet experimented with, the Cloth tab, which is the Cloth Room, so we can see how to use cloth. We'll also talk about how to use dynamics in this section as well. I think you're going to like how we can have a piece of cloth actually drape over this figure or anything that you bring in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep Andy where he is, and I'm going to click on the Cloth Room after we add just one more piece of geometry. We're going to add in our props, we're going to add a primitive, and go to the primitive section here. You will find in this section that there is something called a square high res. Now this is different from the one-sided square because this is just a simple piece of geometry with 4 vertices. I'll go ahead and double click on it just to show you the difference. So first of all, let me scale this guy up a little bit. I'll just go ahead and grab this, and then I'm going to change how we look at this guy by going to where we have our displays over here. So I'm going to go to the hidden line, and as you can see, we can see all of the polygons that make up Andy, but there's only one polygon here with 1, 2, 3, 4 points, also known as vertices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. We don't want this then. So I'll hit delete, and I'm going to show you the high-res version of this. So you might be asking, why exactly is that a big deal? Well, when you have a cloth simulation, all of those vertices and those points and those polygons are needed so that the cloth or the polygons can fold and drape over your object. So I'll go ahead and double click on this guy, and you'll see the difference in just a moment. And I'll zoom in on this guy so we can see it. So I'm going to restore this camera, and I'm going to try that again and try to zoom in slowly. Unfortunately, my stylus is just a little quick on the draw. And if I go ahead and change the display, you'll see the difference. See all the different little boxes in there? Well, those are all connected by those little points or vertices. And these will fold and rotate to give us the cloth that we're looking for. So let me go ahead and restore everything once again. And we're going to go back to our texture shade. We're also going to take this cloth object and move it up so that it's over Andy's head. So I'm going to go to the Y translation and scrub my wheel here to the right to move this above his head. Now you might think that it disappeared. Well, unlike a lot of the other objects in Poser, cloth materials only have one side. So there's nothing underneath this as far as visible polygons. So if we rotate this, we see that's true. So I'm going to just rotate enough so I can see exactly which direction I'm going in. And I'll just move this, like I said, above his head. Now I'm going to go to the Cloth Room, and you see that we have our cloth object, and we have Andy. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the tools we're going to learn here. Now, as you can see, there are a lot of options. So I'm going to cover the most commonly used ones. The other ones I would highly suggest you experiment with and just write your notes as to see how they change your cloth dynamics. Over here we have several little fields, each numbered. One is cloth simulations. This is where you choose an object and you put a simulation on top of it. You can also do things like create drapes and have your object fold through this object or this setting here. Then we go to the cloth objects. You tell the geometry to turn into cloth by choosing Clothify. We also choose collision objects so that the cloth knows what to rub up against and bend over or fold over. Then we have our cloth groups, and this is really helpful to create parts of the geometry that are going to stay still when you want to do a wind simulation. For example, a cape or a flag or anything like that blowing in the wind. Over here are dynamics controls, and here we can calculate our simulations. We can clear the simulation so we can start again with new settings, and we can also change the behavior of our cloth object. For example, how thick is that cloth? Is it going to be like cotton? Is it going to be like a thick canvas? Or is it going to be paper thin material? So we can choose that by changing the fold resistance and the shear resistance and all these things here to control friction. So that's just the beginning of the tools. We'll start to implement them in this section.